Angel's Landing is one of Zion's most sought-after hikes, and for many people, this trail sits high atop their bucket list. If you want to reach the top, you'll have to climb through dozens of switchbacks and hike the infamous chain section. But the reward is a gorgeous top-down view of Zion Canyon. Of course, you will have to jump through a few hoops to get there, including a permit lottery and the Zion shuttle system. So in this episode, I'll help you navigate the permit process, I'll tell you how to prepare for Angel's Landing, I'll explain how to get to the trailhead, and I'll let you know what to expect while you're hiking. If you're looking to visit Zion, you've probably heard of Angel's Landing. This trail gets all kinds of attention on social media, so more and more people want to hike it each year. In 2022, amid growing concerns for crowded paths and hiker safety, Zion implemented a permit system. Now, every hiker that steps onto the chain section has to have a permit. Hiking without a permit will leave you subject to a $5,000 fine and 6 months in prison. Of course, you don't want to go to jail, so you'll have to win a permit. And there are a few things you'll want to know before entering the permit lottery. The first thing you need to know is that all Angel's Landing permits go through rec.gov and the rec.gov app. And there are 2 different lotteries. If you want to snag a permit before you get to Zion, you can enter the seasonal lottery. The seasonal lottery takes place once each quarter, in January, April, July, and October. Each seasonal lottery accounts for 3 months worth of permits. For instance, the January lottery will award permits for the following March, April, and May. Angel's Landing also has a day before lottery that takes place from 12 a.m. to 3 p.m. each day. Winners are normally announced by 4 p.m., so they can prepare to hike the next day. As always, there are a few fees associated with getting a permit. Each lottery entry costs $6, and if you win, you'll get charged another $3 per person. In my experience, the day before lottery is much easier to win than the seasonal lottery. I entered each lottery 3 times. I lost the seasonal lottery all 3 times, but I also won the day before lottery all 3 times. We still got to hike Angel's Landing, but it would have been nice to have it locked in before we got to Zion. So I always recommend trying the seasonal lottery first when it's possible. Either way, here are a couple tips for snagging a permit in the day before lottery. First, lottery results vary depending on the time of year. Zion's visitation numbers drop drastically during winter and early spring, so the permit lottery is much easier to win. Of course, in summertime, crowds are massive in Zion, so it's much harder to win permits. Another point to consider is that the form on rec.gov allows you to select a start time. We always select the earliest time. The Angel's Landing permit system is all about keeping the crowds spread out, and most people don't like getting up early. Some people are driving to the park early in the morning, others have to get their kids up and going, so naturally the earlier time slots have the fewest hikers, which gives early risers a slightly better shot of winning. Also, one quick note about start times. According to rangers, the start time listed on the permit is for the trailhead, so hikers don't have to reach the chain section before the time listed on the permit. They just have to start their hike from the trailhead during that time frame. If you're a regular hiker, preparing for Angel's Landing should be straightforward, but here are a few things to keep in mind. First, you'll want sturdy footwear. Personally, I like hiking boots, but you'll see a lot of people on the trail in tennis shoes, and that's okay. Just make sure your shoes have good traction. Also, if you're attempting Angel's Landing in the winter, make sure to take micro spikes. Second, take some good snacks and pack plenty of water. There's a water station at the trailhead so you can fill up before you start hiking. The park recommends 3 to 4 liters per person, but everyone is different. Next, this part of Zion Canyon gets a lot of sunshine, and it gets hot in the summer, so make sure you have sun protection, like a hat, long sleeves, and sunscreen. As always, make sure to check the weather before heading to the trail, so you know what you're getting into before you start hiking. Wind, snow, heat, and rain all have the potential to create challenges on Angel's Landing. On top of that, lightning can also be a big risk. Finally, make sure you bring your permit. This seems obvious, but there has been quite a bit of confusion. When you win a permit, you'll receive an email that starts with the words, "Congratulations, we wanted to let you know." Download this email to your phone or print it out. This serves as your permit. Cell service is terrible in Zion Canyon, so make sure you have it ready to go before heading to the trail. With permits and preparations secured, you're ready for Angel's Landing. Now you just have to get there. In most cases, you'll have to use the Zion Canyon shuttle system to reach the trailhead. The Zion shuttle system is a completely different adventure, and I created a free Zion starter guide that will tell you how to use them. It'll also give you some strategies for parking in Zion Canyon. The starter guide is available for free at the link in the description. Once you board the shuttle, you'll ride to stop number 6, the Grotto. The Grotto has picnic tables, restrooms, and a water refill station. This is your last chance to get water before the hike. On a side note, Morgan and I always try to hike early when we're in Zion Canyon, in an effort to make our hike more enjoyable. As the day progresses, the crowds grow, and the trail feels like a queue line. We look to avoid the chaos by hiking early. This means arriving at the visitor center very early, so we can ride the first shuttle into the canyon. Once you reach the Grotto, you'll cross the Virgin River and start hiking towards Angel's Landing. Angel's Landing has 5 sections, and the first section is a collection of switchbacks. This part is steep, and it's a good workout. Take breaks, drink water, and save some energy, because this is just the beginning. This trail has more than 1,800 feet of elevation gain, so get used to the climb. Of course, while you're taking breaks, you can also enjoy views like this. The trail hugs the cliffs and continues to climb until it reaches Refrigerator Canyon. This narrow canyon will give you a short break from the climb. You'll also see signs for spotted owls. I've never seen one, but I've been told they exist, so keep your eyes peeled while you're passing through the canyon. Once you get to the end of the canyon, you'll reach Walter's Wiggles. This is a collection of 21 switchbacks. They are narrow, steep, and difficult, but they serve as the final obstacle before Scout Lookout. Scout Lookout is a great place to take a break. There's no access to water, but there is a restroom. Scout Lookout has gorgeous views of the canyon, and you don't even need a permit to hike up to Scout Lookout. Of course, you will need a permit to continue towards Angel's Landing. Angel's Landing sits to the south of Scout Lookout. Rangers will check your permit at the bottom of the chains. Then you can head up to the landing. The chain section only makes up the last 0.4 miles of the hike. While it is short, it's also difficult. The path is narrow and the trail is a constant climb. On top of that, there are steep drop-offs on each side of the path, so hikers with a fear of heights should probably forego this section. To be fair, this section has gotten some bad publicity over the years. Some people have labeled this as the deadliest hike in America. It's not. Between 1987 and 2023, 15 to 20 people have met their fate on Angel's Landing. Some of those were climbing accidents, a few were hiking related, and some people chose their fate. Given those realities, and the massive amount of people that hike this trail each year, it seems like the National Park Service is doing a pretty good job. Still, Angel's Landing can be dangerous, so you need to pay attention while you're on the trail. And once you climb through the chains section, you'll be rewarded with one of the best views in all of Zion.